I wrote this down even, so you know it's serious. How well with the name of your podcast being in their 20s, I feel like you're at risk of falling to like the niche, like, only for people who are like 22 to 26, something like that, like
Yeah.
young professionals. So how do you not do that? How do you like kind of keep a broader audience and not get too niche with your crowds?
Of course.
Um, I think we kind of gather people both below and above that line. There's people above who really just want to see how did this person come about. So, for example, we were speaking with the interview we have coming out. We have a restaurateur who was talking about how he did all these things in his 20s, and one time he had this like group of people at his restaurant, and how it was kind of like it's just kind of different because he was talking about how these people came in and it was this experience that he had, but it's kind of like things like those that make a bigger, different experience for our viewers, So that could be really something for someone in their 40s, 30s, below their 20s. There's a lot of information out there that we have that could really go any way. It could be just like a story that they're telling about their 20s that's super interesting. It could also be something that, they think that it's something very useful to everyone. So it's because most of the time they'll even quantify in our podcast, this isn't necessarily advice for people in their 20s, but it is advice for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll even add on to that. You can do something special with your life at any age. You can do something special in your 30s, in your 40s, in your teens, in your 80s. It really doesn't matter. But I mean, I will say, and Michael and I really, agree with this, and this really goes into our brand. The 20s is just such like it's a pivotal moment and such an interesting moment in your life. You're getting out of college for the first time. You're entering the real world. You're making so many mistakes. You're taking risks. You don't have a family. You don't have a mortgage usually a lot of times. So you're able to do a lot of these cool things. That's something that we all have in common. I mean, again, you have people like Samuel L. Jackson who didn't really make his big break until he was like in his 40s or something. And then you have people that we've interviewed who, became multimillionaires in their teens. So what I'm saying though is no matter where you are in your life, successful, not successful, however you view yourself, it's really clear to say that the 20s, so much can happen in this 10-year window. And those are the stories that we are trying to share. It's not for just people in their 20s, but we are sharing stories of people, in their 20s.